You really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Hey, motherfucker. What do you like to do?
Oh, I don't know. Play chess. Screw.
Well, let's play chess.
They give off to Jonathan Taylor. Jump cutting his way. Close to the goal line. He's in there. Touchdown. I-N-D-Y. Jonathan Taylor.
Wheeler finds Clark from the logo.
Here's Halliburton into the front court. Mishandled it, but gets a shot. Hits it! Hits it!
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Here's the big question, because he's still in studio right now. If Jake Query called you at 1 in the morning, would you answer? That's a hell of a question. You know what? Send that to me, 317-239-1070 on the text line, because I know that he famously...
I fear how these answers are going to go. I have a feeling how these answers are going to go, and I fear how these answers are going to go.
You famously give out your cell phone number to everybody.
Correct. 317-523-9288.
Allow me to rephrase. You infamously hand out your cell phone number to everybody on the air. So... would you answer a 1 o'clock morning cell phone, especially if you're watching season 2, episode 4 of Magnum PI, like I was last night?
I like it when people call me as soon as I get my number out. Like, yeah, the guy's calling me right here. 503. Yes, that's my number. Yes.
Hey, call, answer and cuss him out. Just go, man, what are you doing?
Hey, JMV wants to know what you're doing.
hey, put him up there. Put him up there.
Hold on. You can't cuss because you're live on the air. This is the guy that says that he's banned from the radio station, John.
I'm not cussing. Don't worry.
Okay.
I have before, I think, but I'm not this time.
What? You're banned from the radio station?
I'm glad you answered my phone, man. I love it.
Well, hey, I got to call you back because I'm on the air and I got to let John do his radio show.
This guy's banned from the air?
Yeah, it's Terry, right?
Call you. I'd answer the phone at 1 o'clock in the morning.
All right, well, I appreciate it. There you go.
That's how that works right there.
Anyway, as you were, John. Sorry.
Thank you, buddy. That's all right. 317-239-1070. If Jake Query called you at 1 o'clock in the morning, would you pick up and answer? That is a good one. Well, evidently the Jets did pick up and answer. It was a deal that had been worked on for the better part of 4 weeks. If you missed Rick Venturi with us yesterday, he kind of broke things down about how he would expect Sauce Gardner to be utilized for the Colts. Sauce Gardner is out on the practice field today, still having to settle up with concussion protocol to be eligible to participate in Berlin coming up on Sunday morning. But he was out at practice with the number 1 jersey for the first time today, and we'll talk about that over the course of the afternoon with you as well. So Sauce Gardner, that is still a big deal. Now, it is not. This is one thing that Jake and I were talking about at 1 in the morning last night, was it's not the biggest deal of all time. In fact, far from it. But considering this regime and what we have seen in the past, and then honestly what is at stake this season, and there's a lot at stake. There's a lot riding on this. Like I got yesterday, I'm going to reserve judgment until, I see him actually play and participate, because it seemed like that Jets folks, those that cover the team, were euphoric about him being dealt for that particular haul. 2 first-rounders and A.D. Mitchell. Here's what I maintain. And I may have to, much like Miles Turner, I may have to wear this thing at some point, and that's okay. Because I sat here over and over again for the past 2 weeks and told you that it was paramount for them to go out and do something, because this team is legit. Even before the Pittsburgh game and how they looked there and the problem that the offense was. Now, even before that, I had mentioned that you have to go out, and I didn't think it was going to be this major. I thought, maybe you could get one of these middle of the road or a little bit above that edge rushers that everybody had talked about. The defensive back from the Bengals, somebody else that had been mentioned. So I thought that they would go out and get help. In fact, if you remember on Monday, and actually going all the way back to last week, I suggested I was going to hold my breath. Yeah, I'll go ahead and hold my breath. I'm okay. Because I felt something was going to get done. I just didn't think it was going to get done to this magnitude. And clearly they'd been working on this, as reported, for the better part of the past 4 weeks on trying to, make sure this works and go for it. And believe me, I don't think that there's anybody out there, and if you are that person, then you'll have to let me know you are. But I don't think there's anybody out there that would be willing to suggest, hey, I don't like what they're doing because they are compromising the future. Our present around here with this football team has been compromised forever. So I'd stand to reason that this change in direction, whether we're talking about free agency back in the spring or where we are right now with the trade deadline come and gone, going out and trying to make a team that may be surprising, and maybe there's still some rough patches ahead. Who knows? You still have Kansas City. You're still on the road in Seattle. The Niners at home. Now, home and home with Jacksonville, home and home with Houston. There is still a lot of work to get done. But let's just face it, where you are with the trade deadline, the Colts had legitimized themselves enough, I believe, for all of us to recommend that something needs to be done. If anybody were to tell you that this team was going to be 7-2 and at the trade deadline would go out and add Sauce Gardner, if they would have told you that before the start of the season, you guys would be hanging laundry from your sports arousal today. I understand that locally, I think everybody is happy. Nationally, for the most part, not everybody, but for the most part, especially in the New York area, people believe that the Jets got over. I was talking to Rick Venturi. He joined the show yesterday, that podcast on 1075thefan.com, but I was talking to Rick a little bit earlier today, and he pointed out one thing that I brought up to him is when you take a guy, like we saw in Daniel Jones, goes from just a dismal organization, just crap water, basically 6 years, certainly 5 years in New York, with nothing gained and everything lost, and then having to basically excuse yourself from the organization. Hey, I'm done here. Would you please grant me my release? This is over. And then you come here where around here, all anybody, and Shane Steichen had talked about that, you were looking for was somebody to be able, and to suggest that he's just managing the offense, that is untrue, because it all is encompassing here. Managing, making decisions, making sure guys are in the right position. I mean, you're in charge, absolutely in charge on the field of the offense, and they have not been able around here to trust that to anybody in a long time. And they can now. So you come from that organization, which was awful, and then you're dropped in here, and all of a sudden it works out fantastically. With exceptions. One exception was in Pittsburgh this past Sunday. I think you're going to find out that was an anomaly to what we have witnessed so far. I think it was a wounded team. It was a motivated team, certainly, that had lost 2 consecutive and needed to come out and show people like me that they're not too old, not too decrepit, not too ancient, not too fossilized to still do some work from both sides, whether it's Watt or Highsmith. And I basically pointed fingers at them all saying these guys are too damn old. And still, the way that you look at it, the Colts turned it over 6 times. They were awful offensively and were still within range of 1 score. Had Daniel Jones not turned it over that final time, then maybe things are different. I mean, normally you get buried in things like that. So I'm not suggesting that's a good thing because it wasn't. But what I'm saying is I don't think that defines this Colts team for what we witnessed in Pittsburgh. And frankly, a lot of people are kind of waiting for that. A lot of people are waiting for this team to show. And, one of those people should be me because I bet against them this season. I didn't think it would look anything like it. But now that they have shown us week after week up until this past Sunday in Pittsburgh, who I believe they really are, I'm completely on board with it. And I've said all along, you guys deserve it. The advertisers deserve it. Everybody on board in this market absolutely deserves this team in what is accomplished through the trade deadline. And you deserve a general manager and an organization that goes out and tries to add to it, an ownership that views it necessary to go out and try to get better. I think you would ask that of any team. Thus, when I look at yesterday, I thought it was a fantastic day, yet I have no answers. There's nothing concrete. I just feel a hell of a lot better about who they are now and where they're going now with this group in the moment than I did prior. And then I'll think about what transpires with 2 first-rounders and whether or not A.D. Mitchell turns into Jerry Rice with the New York Jets sometime down the road. Because I don't give a damn about that right now. I want to see this team get better in the moment. And then certainly for you, and obviously a product of you guys being excited and having fun with the team, as we saw with the Pacers, is also beneficial for us. So I'm not suggesting it isn't. But I want to see this all come together and be real for the first time in a long time. And here's one thing you do have to keep in mind. Now more than ever, the NFL is year to year. I mean, now more than ever. There are so many different things that would be beyond your control that can blank you up next year. So if you're worried about what happens with a number 1 next year or the year after, listen, this team, if it continues to win at the clip in which I think most people now believe, then you are going to have a much more difficult schedule. That's just the way that it is next year. So nothing is going to be promised. And I still talked about Kansas City and Seattle and the home and home within the division with Jacksonville and Houston and San Francisco and the games that do remain. But if you're able to play at this winning clip, let's just say, for example, the rest of the way, as hope is there, then you're going to get a much more difficult schedule. Always out of your realm of control, clearly, is that of injuries. And as we've seen with the Pacers, from one year to the other, or in this case, from 4 months to the other, can be drastically different. I would fair a guess that, let's go back to June right now. Back in June, probably not any of you were aware of what this hardship rule is to add a player in the NBA, and especially how it pertains to the Pacers, and especially with the Pacers when now they've added two hardship players. They can't keep anybody healthy right now. You step on the hardwood and you play for the Pacers and you're not, knock on wood here, seriously, Pascal Siakam, then I guess, do you figure you're going to step out onto the floor and pop something, tweak something? This has just been ridiculous. And you're coming off a season of incredible high-level enjoyment of a kind that you've never seen. And this is the aftermath. And I'm assuming this is not what you would feel would be promised to you. Now, you were whatever the dude's name is, the hardship, 2 hardship guys. Yeah, Cody Martin is the most recent. And my man's going to be in action later on tonight. Hey, you got to get out. I mean, that's crazy. Like a guy gets hurt in a pickup game and, hey, can you come over here and play? Absolutely crazy. And a team that is in desperate straits for a win. I'll give them credit. They still play. They play hard. They play exactly how they're coached up and what the responsibility of being a part of this organization is, and that is playing your hardest. They do. And chief among them would be Pascal Siakam. That dude plays ass off on both ends to thorough exhaustion, which I think we'd all wonder, how in the world is this guy? He's going to be worn to the nub by Christmas. But the moral of the story is you're not promised anything. So if you're able to take advantage of it, take advantage of it right now. And if you're asking me how this may work out a year from now or 2 years from now, I have no idea. But I'll take ownership if it fails, because I was completely on board with really any move to make this team better. And all we have to go on right now is on paper, making this team better on paper. I was all in on anything. I had no idea it was going to escalate to this particular level, because it did. It shook the NFL foundation on the trade deadline a little bit yesterday. And not to the degree of it's the biggest trade in the history of the Colts or anything like that, because it's not. But a foundational shaking and the combination of the fact you're dealing with a New York-based team. Had a lot of stuff going on right there. And we can't talk about it at 239-1070. Email address is jmv@1075thefan.com. AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. We're going to see Darren DeVries and his IU squad for the first time coming up later on tonight, 8 o'clock. I'm assuming James, 93 WIBC with Don Fisher, Eric Sewer, and John Herrick coming up at 7 o'clock. Boilermakers without Trey Kaufman-Wren. Last night, you guys get a load of that on the Big Ten Network. Now, last night, Boilermakers #1 in the nation with a win over Evansville. Get that quote from Painter. Painter is just an absolute treat. You know how much I like him. But Painter, after the game last night, talking about, I don't know who asked the question, was asked about Fletcher Lawyer and how fans are sometimes indifferent with him. Some like him and some think he needs to grab some bench. Just classic Matt Painter. Classic Matt Painter about being ranked #1 is what. Do you have the comment regarding Matt Painter about Fletcher Lawyer from last night too? Classic Painter right here, James Rowland.
Matt, I think you're aware of the pulse of your fan base where people love Fletcher Lawyer or they want to replace him. It seems like that's kind of been the...
Well, the people that want to replace him aren't very smart.
That's what I was going to ask.
So let's don't hang out with them.
What?
I love it. I love it. See, I say this all the time, too, and you're going to say, well, that's just because you know him and he comes on whenever you add. It's far beyond that. I have a great deal of respect for him as a coach and a human. And how I gauge that is how good of a coach he is, and then at the same time, how he can hang. Like, I have a basis of comparison really for everybody out there. And I think that's because I'm hangable. And what I mean by that is it does not matter. I am anti-cliquish. I can hang with anybody at any time, at any place. It just doesn't matter. And I've always been that way. I've always enjoyed having people around me. When I went out on dates in the 1990s, I always went out on group dates. I was a group date guy because I wanted a group. I wanted a constant hang with many people. And that's how I've always been. And that's what I admire about Matt Painter, maybe more so than anything else, because it could be me, it could be James, it could be you, the listener out there. And if you're just not a true jackass, then you're going to be able to hang with him. He's just like us. He loves old school hip-hop, Eastbound and Down, Kenny Powers, Stevie Janowski, laughing, fun. He's a great dude. And it just so happens he is one of the better coaches on the basketball landscape. Pretty awesome quote last night. Boilermakers a winner over Evansville. As I mentioned, Darren DeVries and his debut against Alabama A&M coming up later on tonight down in Bloomington. Meantime, Southern Indiana, the Screaming Eagles. Back in the day, the former coach at Auburn coached up these Screaming Eagles. They were as fun a basketball. I'm talking about a basketball watch before they went Division I. As fun a basketball watch as you can find, up and down the floor and scoring at will. And they loved, this is a true story, Love dudes from Greene County. Why not? Because we can all shoot. We may not be athletic whatsoever, but we can shoot. There was a dude, Mark Hostetter played with Matthew Graves and a part of that group with Chad English and my man Hallett. I don't know if Hallett's still listening wherever he is right now or not, but those great Dave Clark WRV teams back in the day. I always thought if there was a place to go play basketball that Southern Indiana would be that play because they just get up and down the floor. That first available is going up. You're going to lift and put it up. Now, you still had to play some defense, and you're going to have to run a lot, but I love that. Screaming Eagles and Butler, that's on Fuego. 92.7, James, right? Fuego. 92.7 FM. I can go ask the guys upstairs. I believe that is the location. Southern Indiana and Butler coming up later on this evening. That is 7 o'clock. So, I know Mark's going to be on the call. Just great stuff, always. Butler and Southern Indiana. Oh, I need a break here? All right, so I kind of got lost in a little bit. Tony East going to join us on the other side. The Hardship Pacers, we'll talk about that coming up too. Kevin Bowen in the 5 o'clock hour. It was Sauce Gardner in the number 1 jersey on the practice field today. We'll talk to Kevin about that and then some. Hey, who's the dude that's coming up in the 5 o'clock hour? I don't have that in front of me. I did send out the graphic. Thanks for the graphic, though. I like that.
Josh Kendall of The Athletic.
Josh Kendall's talking Falcons and Colts in Berlin, correct? Hey, the Falcons can do some things. They have some skilled offensive players. And it's weird, like I have Robinson's on my team, and he'll have a day where he's going to get me 28 points, and I'm going to kick some ass, and I'll have other days where he's non-existent. That's exactly how his team has looked. You want to help them remain not existent in Berlin coming up on Sunday. By the way, 6:30 in the morning, Colts pregame huddle starts right here on 93.5, 107.5 The Fan, and as I like to say, Country 97.1 Hank FM. Well, trio of stations Sunday morning at 6:30. Hey, by the way, too, JMV Takeover will go, since they're in Europe and Germany, like we did in Frankfurt last time, we'll go until the calls stop because I'm going to stay in the building anyway. I'm afraid I'm going to oversleep. So I'll stay in the building until I roll in there at 6:30. So all requests Saturday night, B105.7 goes well past midnight if you guys want to go well past midnight. And I may have a $200 gift card from Sullivan Hardware and Garden to make sure some of you go well past midnight. Talk about that later on this week. Road shows tomorrow, Friday. I'll explain. Busy show for you. Do not go anywhere. The stream, the app, HD Radio, AAA, Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. I would advise, even with the wind, soak up this type of day because they are few and far between basically until April right now. Soak it up. Nice outside. HD Radio, AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Don't go away.
JMV.
There's a kid in my class that got a boner at PE in high school. He was wearing sweatpants. It was really embarrassing, so this song goes out to him.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Turn it up, James. Incredibly appropriate for the Hardship Pacers. R.I.P. Johnny Cash. Pacers Nets coming up later on tonight. Another hardship acquisition, 2 in a season where if I were to ask you, hey, what's a hardship acquisition back in June? None of you, nor probably I, could tell you exactly what that might be. So we're even more educated right now, and joining us, he's our good friend, Tony East. He covers the Pacers in a variety of ways on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. It is weird. If you would have brought this situation up in June, we would have thought you would be crazy. Yet, Tony, here we are pulling up with another hardship acquisition.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Like, they're going to have, 10, 11, 12 players available tonight, whatever it is, and one's a two-way contract guy, one's a guy, Mac McClung, that they signed less than a week into their season, one they signed on Saturday, one they're, maybe signing today or whatever. Like, it's just ridiculous. And you can say that that's 3 of their 12, but they have to play probably at least 2 of those guys. They're so banged up, and ironically, the only position they're not injured in is the one we spent all summer talking about at center, right? Those guys are healthy. So it's just been crazy. I mean, it's so hard to evaluate the team because the guys you thought would be playing aren't even playing, and the young guys you hoped would play, if those guys were hurt, they also aren't playing. So, we're just seeing, here comes, Jeremiah Robinson-Earl and Cody Martin and Mac McClung, and, they've all done fine when they've played, or we'll see what Martin does, I guess, but what does that really mean for this team short and long term is hard to answer, and that's why it's just been such a challenge for them to keep putting together a team and lineups that make any sense at all.
Well, we'll certainly carve into that with you, Tony East from Forbes Sports and more on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. And I got a question playing off of Pascal Siakam, who has been awesome. I mean, really playing his absolute ass off. The problem is he's going to be worn to the nub by Christmas.
Yeah, and that's one of the only things you didn't want this year if you're the Pacers, right? Is the hope would be, he can be good again, but last year they were very intentional about having his minutes, low at most mid-30s, and you can quibble with that at times in the regular season, but guess what? They've been super healthy in the playoffs the last 2 years, and Pascal's been very fresh and very good in the playoffs the last 2 years. They clearly have a plan they like and go for it like that, but you would hope they could do that this year. They can't. His primary backup's hurt. All the wings are hurt. If they want to win some games, they need to play him, and all their games are close, and he needs to play in crunch time for them to win, and they keep losing anyway. It's the toughest scenario possible, and him and McConnell were their only 2 30-plus-year-olds who looked like they'd figure in any way, but if you're the Pacers, you don't want to have to rely on those guys a ton. You need them to be fresh next year when Halliburton's back and you have a higher ceiling, but they just haven't even been able to do that. It's been so challenging with all the injuries, and it's just a mess in every direction, and it's not really anything that they can clean up. It's just really unfortunate.
So you get a game here later on tonight against Brooklyn, and then you go out west. So Andrew Nembhard, I know he's been working out before games. Is there expectation maybe he returns on this Western road swing? Where's Benedict Mathurin? Where's anybody? And certainly we're getting we're approaching that date where they're going to give us more information on the reevaluation of T.J. McConnell. All that in mind, where do we start?
I don't really even know. Yeah, Nembhard was doing some work on their road trip, I believe, in Dallas. He got something in at the end of that practice, was what Carlisle said. And I watched him go through warm-ups before they played Milwaukee. And, the video of him shooting with both hands got posted, and I have video of that myself. I didn't share it. But before that, he was going around the arc and shooting with just his right hand. His left hand just stayed down at his side, and that's the injured one. And, I would not consider that a pregame warm-up of somebody who's super healthy with their shoulder. So I don't know exactly where he is or what his status is, but, shoulders are tough. If you can't lift your arm up high enough, you're much worse. And, you don't need to be rushing guys back in a season like this. So I don't know where he's at specifically. He's not even up to questionable or doubtful yet. Mattering a week-to-week thing. We heard that a week ago, so perhaps an update could come either today or Friday. when it comes to him, but toes are a pain to heal. And even if you're playing with them bothering you, your balance is off. Like, that's another one you want to take the time on. The closest ones, I think, to knowing more specifics is the two you said. Rick Carlisle told us November 9th is a good date to ask about the status of both TJ McConnell and Cam Jones. That's on this upcoming road trip is when that is. You know, McConnell could, in theory, return around then, given just the history of the injury that he has. But, you know, now that they're getting these hardship guys in, you have to be out for a certain amount of time as a player to have your team qualify for that exception. That does make me think McConnell might still be like 10 days away, a week away at the earliest. So, you know, we don't really have specific timelines this year. They have so many guys that JMV, this is embarrassing. My job is to know this stuff, but I keep getting them confused or like forgetting a player that's hurt because there's so many. But the actions they're doing with the hardship, the fact that they're able to do 2 of them does suggest that they have, I think, at least 5 players right now who are out for 2 more weeks. I think we can know 3 or 4 of them pretty easily, but who the last one is really tricky. So it's just a complete mess, and it's so hard to keep track of. And I don't pity the Pacers for themselves having to every day sit down and figure out what their rotation's going to be, who's going to play, who's not, who's even on our team today. Like, it's just so hard to keep a lid on it all.
Do you think I'd have the opportunity to play for Noblesville and the Boom? Because I think Kyle Guy and I in the backcourt would be pretty good.
I saw their scrimmage last night for their first game in their new arena, and Kyle Guy, I mean, look, obviously he played in the NBA 2 years ago. Like, he's obviously pretty good, but I was like, man, like, he might be their best player this year, especially because all their two-way guys are going to be spending every day on the Pacers with how banged up they are. So he's going to get a ton of chances.
Tony East is on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. This is the question that I don't want to ask, but and we don't have an answer for. So, and we understand it's just hypothetical right now. But is there going to come a point in a time, and might that be coming rapidly, where you are going to have to make a decision on some guys and how you want to maneuver? And people are asking me about tradable commodities. Would they offer up guys? Like, that's what a lot of people are thinking about Pascal Siakam. I don't, because I think he's essential I think he's essential to this team. But this type of stuff, though, Tony, does at times have a tendency to change everything. And we saw that with Miles Turner, how everything changed with Halliburton going down. Does anything change that dramatically?
No, I don't think so. And that's the problem, if that's even the right word, with a season like this, where you know you're going to be possibly just great again immediately next year is, you have to have this season happen. You have to try to develop players and win. But your primary focus is the Pacers should be about who are the best players we'll have on our team next year. And Pascal Siakam is the best one, right, of those guys. So even if things are a disaster this season and they win 15 games, which I don't predict is going to happen, but just hypothetically for this, they should still keep him and keep moving with him. And that's how I think they should kind of focus all of their decisions at some point is, okay, given our record at, pick your date, Christmas, January 15th, Thanksgiving, whatever, how do we refocus what we should do for the rest of this specific season? But no, any maneuvering or decisions of that nature should be about next year specifically, or the one right after that. I mean, they clearly have including this season, 3-year window with most of their starters from last year's team under contract. So, I wouldn't even consider moves like that as the Pacers unless there's it's so toxic and horrible every day, but I don't think that's going to happen either because everybody understands what's happening and what next season is going to look like. It's just going to be kind of painful for a year at times, and that's what's being exposed. And I would also say this, I kind of mentioned this about the Fever 2 years ago. Their schedule is so hard to start the season anyway that even fully healthy, I predicted they'd start 3-7. Let's give this team till last year, mid-December or so. And if they're still floundering and awful and really hurt, maybe we'll have more serious versions of this conversation. But it's really early, and even if they were healthy, they might only be 2-5 right now. So it's just so hard to answer any of that at the moment.
Is this what's Warrior season? Do you recollect what Warrior season when Curry got injured that they went all the way down?
Oh yeah, he got hurt in their third game or something.
Yeah,
and they were awful, and they didn't have Clay that year either, and KD had just left, and they got the Wiseman pick that year.
Was that 19 or 20? But that was the COVID year, though. So I can't recollect exactly what year that was.
Yeah, that was the COVID year because they didn't even go to the bubble.
Yeah,
because their record was so bad.
Right.
And then of course the 2020 draft happened in November. Yeah, I mean, he got hurt so early in the season that it forced them to. But they weren't going to have Clay either. KD had just gone to the Nets. They had a lot more lost than just one guy. There have been examples, obviously, of stars missing seasons and what teams do about it. That one is one of them. But yeah, that's again, we'll see in a month or two what their outlook looks like it's going to be, because 1-6 is 1-6 at some point, but they could have been, they probably could have had a crappy record anyway, even if Sans Halliburton, they had everybody else available.
Tony East with us. Before I let you go, I thought you had great dialogue with Miles during shoot-around going back to Monday before his first game back as a member of the Bucks against the Pacers, and we saw how all of that worked out. It was beyond interesting. It's too bad, and I don't know if anybody at all or if somebody did have a little bit of advice to hand out as he was going through the off-season of talking up his new destination compared to his old, but he screwed that entire thing up. I think everybody were going to understand the whole monetary thing and why you move and going someplace else, and maybe even holding a grudge against Kevin Pritchard and Chad Buchanan and the ownership and the organization. But yeah, he went off the rails a couple of different times, and he really, Tony, has nobody to blame but himself for that.
Yeah, I think there's some, let me be clear, some things that he said that were just things he felt positively about the Bucks on that got misconstrued as anti-Pacer stuff. But I do think there's been stuff that was, very obviously in some ways, either shots or describing the way he felt like the Pacers felt about him, that just he didn't he either phrased it horribly, and then his clarifying comments kind of helped, I guess. Or just shouldn't have been something he said until maybe after he played the Pacers, or maybe years from now, if that was going to happen. And so it was good to have chances for him to provide some of that clarity, in the morning before that game. But again, he didn't, the Pacers didn't have a chance to match. If he truly wanted to be back, maybe he would have given that chance. I still think he did, of course, entering free agency, want to return to the Pacers, and then the contract stuff all happened. But, it all changes very quickly when there's millions and millions and millions of dollars involved. And then after the game, talking about taking a discount, I don't ever think he did that either. And everybody saw the Instagram story with the crumpled up car. So, there's some stuff I think that has been misconstrued, and there's some other stuff he's done that's very clearly and obviously either a direct shot or a supposed to be kind of shade in some way that's just why? Why are you doing this? So it's all peculiar, and I think it's good for everyone that game is now done, and that storyline is now extremely small. When he comes to town, it'll be a tiny, tiny, tiny thing, but that's it, right? It's over now. He's on the Bucks. They're still rivals. That's it. But it was a really strange day, I thought.
Tony, he's going to get paid. There's no doubt he's going to be on a team with one of the best, if not the best player in the world right now. But he's going to relive those days when Sabonis was here. He's going to be staked out in the corner. Yeah. There's going to be no flow to the offense. He doesn't have a Tyrese Halliburton. He's going to be sitting and waiting for a ball reversal or a skip pass that likely is never going to come, and that is going to affect his offense. And if they don't win at a high level, Giannis is going to go to New York, and he's going to be playing with Karl Anthony Towns and Miles McBride next year.
Well, hey, if Turner gets traded, he gets even more money because of his trade kicker and his contract.
Well, he'll stay there, and Giannis will get traded, and then he'll be playing with Karl Anthony Towns next year.
I think that's been a really interesting thing is Turner's stats have been poor. He hasn't really made shots with the Bucks, but the biggest difference you see watching the Bucks play is how often last year was he just involved?
Yeah.
Because he was just standing at the top of the key for the Pacers, even if he wasn't shooting on that play, he's swinging it side to side or asked to go set a screen or get a hand out.
It's the Sabonis era for him all over again, Tony. That's exactly what it looks like.
So he had involvement. He had a key role. He touched the ball all the time. He was important to their function. And so even though he's an important floor spacer and he's still a good player, the Bucks are playing well with him on the floor. His defense is tops. He's not nearly as involved. So his numbers are just going to look a lot worse, and that will make it feel a little different, I think, even as the season goes on for the Pacers and for Turner.
So Tony East right there, Forbes Sports, and so much more. He's our good friend, covers the Pacers. He'll be in the Fieldhouse tonight for the Nets and the Pacers as the Pacers try to get their second win of the season, man. It's always a pleasure. I appreciate you pushing back from yesterday as well with all the Colts news, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I have legitimately no insight to offer on Sauce Gardner, so I'm glad we put.
Well, you'd have been asked, so I'd have put you on the spot. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
Yep. Take care.
Tony East on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. It's Kevin Bowen, top of the hour, and we got a little input as far as the Falcons and the Colts go coming up in Berlin, 5 o'clock hour. To that, and got tickets to give away, too. AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. On the road tomorrow at the Bulldog and Broad Ripple. I explain next.
JMV.
If somebody gets in your face and calls you a I want you to be nice.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Two things for you to ponder. By the way, the Nets in town. Beastie Boys in no sleep till Brooklyn. Places to ill. Everybody had that. Everybody had that tape. I think I still have that tape. Later on tonight at the Fieldhouse game right here on the Fan, which means, I think, does that mean we have, what the hell? I forget what, we haven't done it in such a long time. What the hell do I call it?
Anything goes?
Anything, oh God. Am I really going to do anything goes after 6? Should I go anything goes, or should I call it? I should, because I have to do it, I should make it as, for the higher-ups, I should make it as weird sounding as like jacking around time. Let's jack around or something. Let's jack around. I shouldn't say the thing that just popped in my head. Don't chime in. If somebody's going to get in trouble, it should be me. Unfortunately. Yeah, you're asking me point guard later on tonight. Ray J. Dennis, Mac McClung. Cody Martin is the latest hardship acquisition. Jeremiah Robinson Earl, who got some clock on Monday night against the Bucks, is the other. Kevin Bowen's going to join us coming up at the top of the hour. Sauce Gardner at practice for the first time as a member of the Colts. I want to get your thoughts on that too. Plus, I've got two interesting things for you. One is I'm getting the NBA package for free. How long will it last? Place your bets. Because I'm going to get pissy when it goes away because I've had it for 2 weeks now. How long will I get it for free? That and more coming up at the 4 o'clock hour. Win Schuler Spreadability. Original sharp cheddar bacon and cheddar and jalapeno pepper. Win Schuler Spreadability. Elite level snack and available. You'll find it at Neiman's Harvest Market, Meyer locations throughout central Indiana, and Gordon's Food Service. The spreadability of Win Schuler's. Bowen, he's an elite level snacker. He joins us next.
The Ride with JMV.
And the beat goes on, yeah. And the beat goes on.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Oh, we're coming back with Al Stewart. Very appropriate on this Wednesday. James has queued up time passages for the show. How do you not love this song? JMV, the text line is open at 317. I mean, hell, it's open all the time. 317-239-1070. I asked the question about, since I've had the full court package for the NBA for free so far this year, 2 weeks into the NBA season, that was official yesterday. Will I continue to get it for free? Nick the Quaker says you have it for free through the first month. See, I'm going to get pissy when it goes away. Because I think I pay so much and I've been loyal. 25 stinking years with pain in the rear end DirecTV. Yeah, we're having some dialogue with these channels and they are not going to be a part of it. You know, I've had to deal with all that crap. I know some of you are dealing with it right now. If you have YouTube TV, you don't have ESPN. Remember when cutting the cord was cool for you? And now it kind of sucks, doesn't it? Because you cut the cord, and now you've got to have 19,000 different $10 to $15 apps to watch crap. We just need something universal. 19,000 remotes, 19,000 different apps, all costing you probably about the same as the ridiculous amount that I'm paying right now. Nick continues, JMV, I have the same through DirecTV, but be careful. Sometimes having a crummy team like the Reds most of my life opens up all kinds of free time for you. So you could pick up cross-stitch ceramics or some other craft this Pacer season. I love watching all the games. I was watching the Suns and the Warriors last night, Bulls and the Sixers for a little bit. I want this for free. I think I demand this for free. If you've been a DirecTV subscriber for 25 years like me, let's all demand together. Demand it for free. And oddly enough, in a season in which the Pacers, the hardship Pacers, now have two hardship participants on their squad. Shout out to Colleen on the text line as well. If you guys want to jump in, 317-239-1070. Yeah, do so. I guess we have to do Anything Goes coming up later on tonight for like 15 minutes too. I'm going to cut you guys loose. Just say whatever you... No, not really. We'll have some fun with it though. Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline. Speaking of fun, he saw the brand new number 1 at practice a little bit earlier today. Sauce Gardner in that Colts practice uniform for the first time. And Kevin Bowen in the morning show, 7 until 10 a.m., weekday mornings here on The Fan, 1075thefan.com, writer, podcaster, Steffiket. Kevin Bowen joins us now. How was it today?
Hey, John. Yeah, it was good. Beautiful day for Colts practice. Some bright green shoes for Sauce Gardner. Very tall individual. Yeah, he pretty much took part in virtually everything. Maybe didn't do 1 or 2 drills when we were out there, but just saw he was listed as a full participant and no red jersey on, so I assume he will be good to go on Sunday.
Are we all full bore on this? Because I am. But how could this, and I don't know how much in depth, I'm sure you've probably overthought it because sometimes you probably get caught overthinking things in sports like this, but how could we get caught with our proverbial pants down that this situation doesn't work? And how far do they have to go this season to justify the price tag?
I think you got to get the AFC title this year to justify it. I think at some point you got to play in the Super Bowl, whatever that window looks like. if you want to go like team goals. It was interesting yesterday, John. I felt like there were people out there that are like, oh, wow, the Colts fleece the Jets and the Jets fleece the Colts. I'm like, well, I guess that's what we call an even trade when both parties are happy. It's probably a state of, frankly, each franchise with where the Jets are and, obviously the surprise that the Colts have had to where they've done it. Where could you be calling your pants down? I don't know. Some people would say corner is kind of it's a tough position to sustain, I think, a long-term success there. So, I don't know if you get a couple of years into this and, we had Zach Rosenblatt, who covers the Jets, on this morning. He said that, Sauce is probably playing at a B plus level, I think was the letter grade, versus the all-pro level he was at coming out. So I think if he plays more like the B plus guy, then, that probably isn't going to be the return that you were hoping for. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe Daniel Jones hits some wall or has an injury, given his, history. But, again, that stuff you're kind of grasping at. You just don't have a lot of wiggle room, to make a pivot at quarterback, I would think. So, yeah, those would probably be some of the areas.
All right, Kev, let's talk about the potential, because when you get all healthy hands on deck right here, name recognition-wise and ability from the past, that's a daunting secondary, maybe one of the more, if not the most, in the NFL, at least with accomplishment and name recognition involved.
Yeah, I think that is unquestionably true. Yeah, I think I'd probably argue it's the best on paper when everybody's healthy and out there. And I think that's what makes it so dynamic. When you play a team like Denver in week 2 and they have Patrick Surtain, by all accounts, the top corner in the league, there's a lot of people that have the thinking of, all right, I'm just not going to throw at him for the entire game. We're just going to eliminate whatever side of the field we line guys up on where he goes, and that's how we will operate. Well, now if you do that, if you treat the Colts the same way with Sauce Gardner, Mooney Ward is by no means a slouch. Kenny Moore in the slot is by no means a slouch. And, I think Cam Bynum and Nick Cross have had some nice seasons as well at safety. So, I think that's where, Lou Anarumo can start to commit more resources to the pass rush, which I think need more resources. Whatever is that from a blitzing standpoint. You can do a lot of unique things if you trust your guys back there to be, more on islands. And just look at the wideouts you're about to face. I mean, Drake London coming up on Sunday. You come back from the bye week, it's Rashid Rice, and then, then it's Nico Collins. We'll see where Jacksonville's at from a health standpoint when you face them. And, Jackson Smith and Jigba, they made a trade yesterday with the Saints to kind of bolster their wideout room as well. Cooper Kupp getting back to health. So it's a pretty notable group of wideouts you face the rest of the season. So, having corners that, again, you trust to take away whatever their responsibility is, if you hit on that, that goes a long, long way. And, I think helping a pass rush, which needs some help right now.
It's Kevin Bowen of the Fan Morning Show. 7 until 10 a.m. That's weekday mornings on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan, along with James Boyd and Jeff Rickard. It's Kevin Bowen on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So you have a baby on the inbound. I think Rickard's going to be here, and Boyd's going to Germany. Who the hell is going to be doing the morning show this week?
Well, that's a good question. So tomorrow it'll be our normal crew, but yeah, cool. Friday I'll be out, and James will be Das Booting it. And so I believe you're not going to be Das. The Das Boot I'm thinking about is full of beer, and we all know that James Boyd does not partake in alcohol, which, hey, Kev, seriously. He plays hoop with me. I've got to get him out to have some drinks or something. We got to change that. I can't trust anybody like that. I don't know. He seems pretty steel trappy when it comes to that. So that might be your greatest accomplishment. I think James Boyd, if you get him to crack.
Do you think he's a little too tight-assed? I think he might be.
I've met some drinking individuals that I would label as that. I don't think I'm labeling James as that. I think it is Mark and Jeff. Greg Rakestraw, of course, said to me today, "Hey, I'm ready to come out of the bullpen if you need." So,
Mark and Jeff. When's the Mark and Jeff show? Because I'm going to tune in for that.
I want to say Friday and Monday. I'll be back next week, probably like midweek, assuming everything goes according to plan. So, yeah, you'll have Mark and Jeff, I believe, Friday and Monday. I think James gets back super late Monday, so I don't know if he'll be back in on Tuesday or not.
Oh, man, there you go. It's Kevin Bowen with us. Hey, congratulations, too. I'm sure everybody in the household is going to be happy when everything's good to go and done, right?
Amen to that. Maddie Bowen has been an absolute warrior. I think she's beyond ready. So, yeah, we're heading in early Friday morning, and fingers crossed everything goes according to plan. A little girl, so we'll round out the family here with another girl.
What's the name?
We actually don't have one picked.
Oh, well, let's pick it right here. Have you had a poll on the morning show to pick a name?
No, I mean, I thought about, researching Greene County names from the 1980s to, flash up a few names we could get there from a girl's standpoint. If you've got any, I'm all ears. So I'm an open book. If you've got any that you feel like are terrific names, by all means.
Oh, man, I love hot girls from the 80s names. Like Brittany and Ashley and Heather.
Brittany, Ashley, and Heather.
Oh, hot girls from the 80s. Or how about girls or women that have cut my hair before? They're all named Debbie. How about Debbie?
Boy, I've been on this earth for 36 years. I don't know if I've met a Debbie younger than me yet. I baby Debbie, I don't know. But that does sound like a great hair-cutting lady name.
I love Debbie's cut my hair since 1982 at Command Performance in the Bloomington College Mall, Kev. True story.
That is excellent. That's excellent.
Right there in the window. They always put me in the window. And Debbie always said, I'm 12. Debbie would say, how old are you? What are you, 18? Are you getting ready to graduate? Because I think Debbie thought that I would tip her more. But I didn't know you were supposed to tip back then. So Debbie got no tip. Terrible.
Boy, I'm sure she loves seeing you pop up in the old window of the barber shop.
Debbie gave me the bi-level. I said, give me the Steve Alford. I want it parted down the middle, feathered on the side, butt cut style, Debbie. That's what I got.
And did that lead to the same success off the floor that I'm sure Mr. Alford had down there in Bloomington?
Oh, everybody back then, Kev, shot their free throws by touching their socks, dribbling, 3 times, and then shooting. Did you do that? Did you shoot free throws after somebody style-wise that shot free throws that you liked?
No, not really. I did try the one. Bracy Wright would always stand a few feet behind the foul line, and I always found that interesting.
Yeah.
So I definitely remember trying that at some point there. I was a big, palm on the air hole.
Oh, were you really? Well, I'm right foot at the nail. I was always when there was no nail in the floor, that screwed me over.
Yeah,
because then I couldn't center up.
Yeah, and honestly, the more I'm watching some of these Pacers shoot free throws, they might need to be listening to us and some of their routines here.
I think listen, I'm not going to make this is not making fun of Pascal Siakam because he has been awesome on both ends. But he may need to, step back like Bracy Wright and find the nail like me too sometimes because his free throw shooting, sometimes he looks like he feels like he knows where it's going, but he really doesn't know. You know what I mean? When he shoots it.
He is doing everything right now. I have to preface with that. I'm glad you did as well. But, boy, when he gets that foul line, I feel like I'm watching Charles Barkley swing the golf club.
Yeah. I think his whole operation looks like smooth until the release. And, it just seems like he's long sometimes and he's short others. And that always, to me, means you don't really know where it's going.
Yeah, it's real hitchy, and I feel like it's rising up there. If you counted it out, I think it'd be getting pretty close to 10 as well. So, yeah, again, nitpicking Siakam's foul shooting is probably 500th on the list of questions right now with the Pacers, but I am reminded because he's going to the foul line a ton right now, which is kudos to him for getting to the foul line so much.
Yeah, Pacers do get the Brooklyn Nets coming up later on tonight. Brooklyn has been horrible this season. Pacers searching for their second win of the season, then go out west starting in Denver, I think for a 4-game Western road swing, in fact, coming up after this game later on tonight. So What's been your thoughts on Jarris Walker? And I'm curious. This is how I've felt, and I felt this way on Monday night. I'm so close to the first couple of quarters, if you will, saying, man, you think Jarris Walker's ever going to get it? And then there are moments where he looks like he has it and then some. Where are you with him? Are we watching growth right now with him, or is this ultimately what he should be doing at this point in his career?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. A good buddy of mine and I were texting back and forth during the game on Monday, and similar sentiment of like, gosh, I'm just not seeing it right now with Walker, and this was primarily in the first half. And then the second half, I felt like you got a few more of those moments that were like, okay, there's a little bit more, here. And honestly, I wish he could give you, like, I expected more growing pains offensively for him coming out of college. I wish it was more of a slam dunk what he was able to give you defensively and rebounding. Like, because then I think you would look at the offense as a little bit of a bonus. Now, given the situation you're in right now, you need help everywhere. Like, I mean, you're just so desperate. And, for him and Neesmith to be viewed as, 2 and 3 on the scouting report, they just aren't self-creators. They're just not that. They need others, I think, largely to set you up. I was stunned that Neesmith gave you that drive to end the game, or to tie it, I guess, with the left hand. That was one of the better drives that Neesmith has had there. So, I guess one of the blessings right now of their situation is the minutes are still going to be there for Jarris. So I'd like to see more, I guess, to kind of summarize it all. I'd like to see more on the defensive end, really, of like more of a, again, when the thought was, and when everyone's healthy, that's what you need from him the most. You need the bigger wing defender. When you have a healthy pacer operation, you don't need him to score, 16 a game or whatever you need from him right now. So, yeah, I'm not in the, bail on him, 80 Mitchell him tomorrow, but I would like to see a little bit more out of him, especially, he's in that position right now where the minutes are just super consistent, and I don't see that stopping anytime soon.
Did you see Lance Stevenson ask on social media if he could go back to college and play again?
Yeah, I did see that.
Wait, can he?
Great.
Does he still have eligibility left?
So is this all in reference to the whole G League or the?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Cam Reddish? Is that?
Yeah, so you have you have the G League guy that's committed to play.
Is it Cam Reddish that's doing it, or who is it that's doing it?
No, it's not Reddish,
No.
is it?
Well, who the hell's doing it then? It's somebody.
Well,
somebody that went to Duke for a season, right?
Some G League dude committed to Louisville, I thought. Wasn't that what it was? Or I
apologize
exactly
for bringing it up because either one of us know what the hell we're talking about.
Well, basically, I think what it is right now is some of these G League guys, the G League Ignite guys that have played professionally, they are, committing to actual colleges, which, again, I don't know, I don't know from an NBA experience standpoint, where you draw the line or, I feel that way at times about, I'm pretty sure the Purdue point guard, the Israeli kid, he was on Travion Williams' team.
Yeah, it's Cam Reddish, by the way, and I don't know if this is true or not. This goes back to October, is down to 3 schools. And
Cam Reddish, the former dude from Duke.
Yeah, is that the Onion? Is it the Onion? Did I get tricked by the Onion? I think he's been in Lithuania here recently playing.
Gosh, I hadn't seen that
And I apologize because absolutely nobody cares out there, and I apologize for bringing it up right here and getting everybody confused. So I'll go ahead and get it back to the Colts before we go. I did want to ask you this as far as you look at this particular move, and a lot of people nationally suggested after they soaked up that trade and the price tag yesterday that it was, quote, a desperate move by a general manager that was looking to save his job. And that could not be further from the truth because to me, Ballard is secure. Steichen is secure, and they're moving forward with this in the fashion in which they did because they think this could be an ultra-special season. Is that what it was all about yesterday and finally coming to grips and making that deal for Sauce Gardner?
Yeah, I would assume Carly signed off on. I mean, if I were an owner, I'd be wanting to sign off on trades that involve 2 first-round picks. So, yeah, I think it sends some sort of message of Daniel Jones is going nowhere, Chris Ballard is going nowhere, and Alec Pierce, it's going nowhere. And, maybe franchise tag would be used for Jones or Pierce, but that's kind of my assumption. Ballard, I believe, is under contract through 26, so I don't know. Part of me is like, really, in 2 months, has he earned the right to all of a sudden be extended for a third time? That seems, a bit out there, but I don't know. Maybe 2 months is enough to totally rewrite everything else here. So that would be one of like, okay, do you just let that contract play out and then reassess again after next season? Jones and Pierce, can you get both of them done long term? Or again, is one of those going to be a franchise tag initially? But yeah, I don't view it at all as a desperate attempt to try and save it. Because again, I would think Carly would have to sign off on that trade. If I were her and I was still thinking about making a change at GM, I would want to be, in a position to where the next GM that I hired didn't have their 2 first-round picks gone for the next 2 cycles here. I view it purely as 7-2. These chances don't grow on trees. You have a historic offense. If we sweeten the pot enough, we feel like at a premium position, which I think is the key element to it. The Colts have had enough guards and running backs and linebackers on the side of Lucas Oil Stadium. They need more of the, quarterback, wideout, pass rusher corners on the side of Lucas Oil Stadium. I think that's been the big difference between them and Houston, really, the last couple of years. I think Houston maybe hasn't had the 1-53 talent that the Colts have had, but they've been better at those positions. And I think this is an attempt at trying to get better at an area that you have struggled to draft in the Ballard era.
239-1070 if you want to name baby girl Bowen on the way later on this week. Megan, Alicia, Lindsay, Casey. I think those are all good starts right there. I say go back to the hot girl in the 80s names. Ashley, Brittany, Heather.
I saw Jennifer tweeted at us, no stripper names. What? Could you give me some stripper names?
Amber? Cinnamon? You're not on a Cinnamon Bowen.
Cinnamon with an S. Can you imagine if we have like some Amber right now living in Brownsburg?
Ambers are naughty, buddy. Let me tell you. That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard.
P1 listener to John in the afternoons. And when I ask for stripper names, the first name you mention is Amber.
Amber, right off the top of my head, and then Cinnamon to follow it up.
Oh, now on the happy hour poll, Amber.
Cinnamon with an S. That'd be SINNMON. Ooh,
really
that
good.
is cinnamon right there, buddy.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Hey.
Make sure you don't have that saved in your phone when your wife all of a sudden reaches for your phone there, because that's not going to end well.
Tell our girl I'm very, very happy for you guys, okay? And the
Thank
fam, too, even though Brad Bowen didn't show up to the Ale Emporium last Thursday. I was disappointed about that, but that's
okay. How about
okay.
that crowd for Griff? That was awesome. Great work by you.
He deserves it,
Great.
too. Listen, he's been a lot for everybody around here for decades. He deserved that, for sure.
Amen. It was great to see so many people, so many laughs from the past, and that was a fun reunion, and shout out to the legend, that's John Griffin.
You the man. Let us know how things go, man. We're thinking of you.
All right, John. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
You got it. Kevin Bowen, the morning show, 7 until 10 a.m. James has given me the evil eye. I've got to go until 15 after. I don't give a damn when I break, to be honest with you, James. Seriously, all right? If I'm going to go an extra 15, I'll break whenever the hell I want to break in the 4 o'clock hour. Quick break. We will come back. James has got somebody set up for the Berlin game. And we'll do that coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. OAR tickets, too, coming up, too, I believe. We got that coming up, too. The Stream the App, HD Radio, AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
right. Peace.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Sure, my impression is, like you said, he's an unbelievable player. To get a bona fide number one corner in this league, like I said, it elevates everybody around us. He's got all the elite traits you look for. He's sticky in coverage, the pass breakups, the interceptions. He's feisty. He's aggressive. Just to add that to the fold of the back end with the guys we already got back there, like I said, it's going to elevate everybody. So I think just a great get by Chris getting him.
Shane Steichen earlier today regarding Sauce Gardner now being a part of the personnel for the Colts. Good to go at practice today. And the price tag, a couple of first-rounders and A.D. Mitchell. With that in mind, I asked Kevin this, and he mentioned AFC title game and potential Super Bowl. So where would you – I mean, we know what the ultimate goal is. I know what you want. But what is the minimum goal, in your opinion, for this Colts team if you do go all in the fashion in which they did prior to the trade deadline? What is it for you? Again, Kevin Bowen said AFC title game, Super Bowl. What is the minimum goal that needs to be reached to justify that? I'm asking that of you at 239-1070, 317-239-1070. If you want to drop that into the text line, you can do that as well. The AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. Everybody is ripe with names for Kevin Bowen and his inbound daughter. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, Cinnamon and Chastity J-Law, that's well done. JMV, I know a couple of girls named Amber, and you're exactly right. Thank you. That's outstanding. Now, Tony East a little bit earlier, the second hardship acquisition of the season for the Pacers is beyond ridiculous. Not the player, beyond ridiculous. Cody Martin is the player. But it's ridiculous that you have to tap into the hardship rule again. And they have done that. Pacers and Brooklyn coming up later on tonight, and then a Western Road swing after that. So clearly things are not going to get any easier. You guys are answering my question on the text line. JMV, winning one playoff game would be nice. One playoff game. See, I almost got to say it's been so long since that's happened, or winning the division. Am I setting the bar too low here? When you say AFC top, that is like a lot. And Super Bowl, that's a lot. And I'm not suggesting you shouldn't have that goal nor the expectation, but if they don't get there, are you going to be incredibly disappointed and view this deal as maybe being a winner for the Jets? It's out of curiosity. Matt says, win the AFC title. Aaron V says, Colts and this is a Bill Polian reference right here, the Patriots in the AFC title game. Man, I'm glad that I was drunk and picked 4 quarterbacks, because that's the only way that my team, like I picked Drake May because I was not in a good way when we had our draft. I'm glad. Thank you, alcohol, for saving me from myself. What a great decision that was. I needed all 4 quarterbacks too, by the way. JMV, AFC South title, AFC title game appearance, AFC title. I don't know who these people are, but I'll honestly say your name if you send it. 239-1070 is that number. Jared has a solution to my television situation. Hello, Jared. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm ready for a solution. What do you got?
I think it's about time that the fans are the ones that are getting the business into this. So why don't our 4 major leagues come together put all those billions of dollars they have and just say enough with all these streaming services, enough with all these Disney and ESPN screwing our fans.
Yes.
And just make their own.
Well, I would say on the surface, that sounds good because we are so dissatisfied with every other avenue we're on right now. But I would have to feel that we would probably all, in some form or fashion, end up being screwed financially by that. Right? I guess that's because I'm apprehensive in believing that there is one true solution out there for us. I would agree with you. Now, what do you have? DirecTV, cable? What do you have?
I'm suffering. I got YouTube TV, and I'm suffering.
So you're missing ESPN right now, correct?
Yep, at the start of college basketball.
What a blank move that is, by the way. And I would say this. I think we have now crossed back over. There was a time when everybody was cutting the cord, and that was a great thing. It's not so much that way anymore, is it?
No, it's pretty much time to go back to cable.
Man, see? It's got all these things, and you got to have everything. Like, I've got to keep track of my mom, who is 80 in Greene County, and I'm going, oh, my God, I've got to get you a Roku stick, and it's just, like, frightening because I can't do all this stuff over the phone for her. And then she calls me the other night and goes, I'm watching the games here, and it says I may run out of bandwidth. And I'm going, oh, my God, what? So at this point, I don't know what to do. I don't know if there's one true avenue. The only one that I can recommend, and that's still not the best resource, is where I am with DirecTV. At least I know what I want to watch in terms of the Pacers will always be there. Now, if it goes to Amazon, then I'll have to make that adjustment. But for the most part, with very few exceptions, I always know the Pacers will be there. And then I guess I have to make the adjustment. But I think, Jared, we're all kind of screwed in this. I mean, unless somebody can give us a good option where we can steal the programming, I think we're all screwed.
I got a name for Kevin. I think we're missing an obvious one here.
Okay.
Danielle.
Danielle Bowen. I don't mind it.
Not quite Daniel, but pretty much.
Danny Bowen. Everybody will call her Danny because they're going to get Rosie Bowen, Danny Bowen, and Max Bowen. All right, Dan. I think that rolls right there. Jared, well done.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.
Thanks for the call. JMV, if the Colts don't at least win the division and get past the first round, are they fired after spending that much on players? Adam, I believe this to be true. I believe that Chris Ballard and Shane Steichen, Lou Anarumo are solidified in their positions right now. That's why yesterday, I think we played back that sound yesterday from Pete Prisco. That would not be a good name for Baby Bowen. But Pete Prisco of CBS, who gave his opinion on Chris Ballard and the Colts acting in desperation to save his job, and that could not be further from the truth. And that simply puts somebody that has no idea what's been going on around here from the start of the season. To me, they are all solidified. Am I right with that? I mean, think about this. They've been solidified. He's been solidified through consistently much worse. And this is like a crowning achievement right here. There's zero way he's going anywhere. I don't feel wrong about it. JMV, my daughter was Gabrielle. Gabrielle. That's a good one, too. I like that. JMV, I'll just go to the Ale Emporium to watch the games. I can't get anymore. Great food, great service, and always a good time. Shout out to the Castleton crew. Sally, indeed. Scott and the gang, and we've been there now a number of times, and the added space that they have, which is incredible how big the venue is awesome. You got the ale in Castleton, the ale in Fishers near Geist, the ale down in Greenwood, and I don't know if it's open yet. Is the ale in Avon open yet? Speaking of due dates, what's the due date for opening for? And I think at some point we're going to end up out there when it's officially open. It's well done. JMV, why do the Pacers and the Fever so injury prone? What's the chances of two sports teams in Indy having 6 to 8 players out each? I think that's just a reflection on us. For whatever reason we get as a viewing public around here, either as a fan or those that cover those teams, in those moments in which you get the absolute best, which you normally will get as payment, I guess payment or punishment is the absolute worst, and it has come in the form of unfortunate injuries. I don't know how to explain it. How can one market have this much stinking bad luck? Now, the other hand, though, Josh, people are going to say, were you present during the postseason? How many times did they hit game-winning shots? Against all odds. Understand that. It seems like around here, we're a breath away from some debilitating team injury. And frankly, I think we all should be sick of it. Quick break, we'll come back. If you're on hold, I'll get to you. 239-1070 is that number, 317-239-1070. That is the text line. Tomorrow we're going to be at the Bulldog in Broad Ripple, present and accounted for, all of you with me. Hey, James Boyd may not drink, but we're going to have some samples for you coming up tomorrow. Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots, Week 10. Me, Brent Halverson, the Bulldog. We're going to be in Broad Ripple for you tomorrow with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Stupid is no way to go through life, son.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
JMV, I know you have a very early pregame show coming up on Sunday morning. Does that mean you're going to go late, even later than usual on the JMV Takeover? What I've done before, when the Colts were in Frankfurt, because I have to be in here so early, and I don't know if I trust myself, I've been late. I hate to bring this up. Late one time, remember when I didn't know I was supposed to be someplace last year, and then Jake had to do like 30 minutes into the 3 o'clock hour because I had to make a run to Twin Peaks up in Castles. Man, I was pissy about that because that broke a 24-year streak. And Jake picked me up on that day. But I've always been a little skittish about staying until midnight for the JMV Takeover, rolling home, and then sleeping for a couple of hours, getting back up and coming back in. So what I did, because I went to London, so what I did when they went to Frankfurt is I just stayed here. Now, it's not the best choice, but it's not likely I'm going to get a great deal of sleep anyway, and at the very least, I am here. Not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to bring the cottage cheese, the Greek yogurt, the carrots, and the hummus. I'm going to bring that in here and hold up. But what I normally do for the JMV Takeover is I'll go after midnight. So as long as the calls continue to flow, I will take them and then go until after midnight. I think back during the Frankfurt year, I want to say I went to 2 in the morning. And I've done that before when I haven't been out, for the night before the 500, actually like I was in the Coke lot a year ago. I had gone basically until 2 and 3 in the morning and then gone out to the infield to do the pre-race show with Tony Katz. But no, I will go past midnight coming up on Saturday night. I just don't know. It's kind of up to you guys and your participation. I will say this. Pat Sullivan has given me $200 gift cards to give away for the holiday season as a part of the JMV Takeover on Saturday night. So we may move that after midnight, which will, and I know you guys love this, force you guys to stay up and hang with me. I don't know if that's beneficial for you or if that's me being kind of jerkish. Either way, it works. But shout out to Pat, Sullivan Hardware and Garden, for offering those up once again. Those are awesome for you this time of year as we get into the holiday season. $200 gift cards from Sullivan Hardware and Garden. That is coming up at the JMV Takeover as we will go past midnight coming up on Saturday into Sunday morning. And then the Colts pregame huddle starts right here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan at 6:30 in the morning with me and Casey Valier here and former Colts wide receiver Bill Brooks. He will be in Berlin getting you set for the Falcons and the Colts. 239-1070 is that number. It is Ray Love who is up next. Hey, Ray Love, did you send me something on Twitter this week? Was that you?
I did.
Did you call me corny?
No, I said if you accept what Miles did, that was corny.
No, you kind of call me. You call me a little bit corny, didn't you?
No, I said if you accept his actions, that's corny.
No. And here's what I said about that. I understand holding a grudge against an organization that's tried to trade you numerous times and then sign somebody over you once upon a time and then maybe reverse course when Tyrese Halliburton got injured. I understand leaving for more money. I understand not being happy with the organization. I understand looking in social media and having people read what people say about you and not liking that. But the one thing that will always get to me is his dialogue about his teammates. And make no mistake about it, he said so much of the wrong stuff in those months between going to Milwaukee and then playing on Monday night. Then he's going to have to wear that. And he wore that as we witnessed Ray Love on Monday night.
Yeah, and you know what, John? Go and chase money if you got to. I don't think the fan base is necessarily mad about that. But right. What I do think is your comments on the Antetokounmpo brothers podcast is what sent the fan base over. And then, honestly, for a lot of fans that I know, when you go out and put up 6 points and 4 rebounds in a game 7 after your star point guard, the guy who led you to that point, that's unacceptable. And you want to talk all that trash?
Yeah,
no, buddy. We're not letting that ride.
I agree. No. We're on the same page with that. Yeah, I never did accept that, and there's no justifying that. And that's why he was treated in the fashion by the fans in which he was, and it was rightly so. It was.
Yeah, and that comment about Tyrese isn't like that. If you caught him on the street, he wouldn't say nearly half the stuff that he says on the court. I've watched this guy for about 10 years get punked, bent over by some of the best centers in the league, and he just, he I don't want to call him a little girl or anything, but, he didn't show much masculinity.
Ray Love, I do have to run here, but the reason why Miles Turner had such good years and, why he ended up getting that money in Milwaukee was all because of Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton made Miles Turner. Made him a consistent asset on more than just the defensive end. Thank you, Ray Love. Wenschuler Spreadability, original bacon and cheddar, sharp cheddar, jalapeno pepper, the Spreadability elite level snacking for your crackers, chips, and even a burger on the grill. The Spreadability of Wenschuler's. You can find it at Meyer, Gordon Food Service, and Neiman Harvest Market today. That's Wenschuler's.
Ride with JMV.
We have the holy hand grenade.
Yes, of course. The holy hand grenade of Antioch.
Right.
1, 2, 5. 3, sir. 3.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Crank this up for me, James, in our continued quest to find a baby girl name for baby Bowen. I present to you Brandy. But this is Brandy with a Y. And a Yacht Rock classic, by the way. It's got to be Brandy with an I. Brandy with an I. I would say Brandy with an I. Something a little special about that.
Is that a little bit more in the realm of stripper names? Is that what you were talking about?
I don't think it's that's Brandy with an I is kind of a hot girl name, I think. Is it not?
I don't know that many Brandys, so I can't really say.
Brandy with an I. That's well done out of you right there. Looking Glass, also well done. That may be a JMV takeover song coming up on Saturday night on B105.7. Hopefully you can join us. Hey, tomorrow, the Bulldog, we're in Broad Ripple, our Week 10 Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots, me, Brent Halverson. We start at 3. I want to make sure we pack the place because I need to see you, and we need to have one hell of a Thursday. Samples with Heaven Hill Distillery. I think you know by now how that works. Tomorrow, beginning at 3, the Bulldog. We're going to be in Broad Ripple. Friday, Twin Peaks in Greenwood, Bud Light Blue Friday. We have Colts tickets for you. Sign up and you can win Twin Peaks in Greenwood on Friday on a Bud Light Blue Friday. Meantime, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, everybody that covers either the Colts or the Falcons are set to get the hell out of Dodge and head to Europe. One of those would be Josh Kendall of The Athletic, who covers the Falcons. That's coming up in Berlin. 6:30, your coverage begins with me on Sunday morning on the Colts pregame huddle. And Josh Kendall of The Athletics on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline right now. Hello, Josh. How are you?
Pretty good, guys. How are y'all doing?
I'm curious. So when you cover a Falcons game, do you just beforehand flip a coin and just try to guess what the hell you're going to get in return with the Falcons' performance? Just guess?
1,000%. Yep. I've got no clue from week to week. I'm not sure they do either.
So
it's a roll of the dice.
Why does it work that way because of the inexperience / talent at quarterback, or is it a variety of ways why it comes down to this?
It's a variety of things. Their offensive line, which has been a real strength for, honestly, 5 years, has been very inconsistent. That's been a surprise, and they've had trouble adjusting to that and reacting to that and, responding to that technically with execution-wise and scheme-wise because it caught them so off guard. Bijan Robinson went for 170 yards on the ground against the Bills. In the 3 games since then, he's got 112 yards total. They really rely on him being Superman, unfortunately. If he can't do that, this offense doesn't go anywhere. That goes back to Michael Penix being inexperienced, being too inconsistent, not being accurate enough. So it's a hodgepodge of offensive issues.
Again, Josh Kendall, and by the way, is in an airport. I'm assuming getting ready to hop a flight. Are you at Hartsfield, whatever it is, in Atlanta right now, getting ready to go to Berlin?
Yep.
Oh man,
getting on a plane as soon as we hang out.
So you're a local dude there. Is that airport as congested for you being local as it is for the rest of the world when they fly through there?
I don't notice it being any worse or frankly better than most of the other ones I rolled through. I don't think it's as I know. I guess it's the most traffic, or at least at one point was the most traffic in the country. Yeah. But they move it through okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, safe travels to Berlin. We'll try to get you out here on time to make that flight. So I brought up Michael Penix, when healthy, the good and the bad of the at one time IU signal caller. What have you witnessed?
He's got a great arm. He can make any throw, and he can make it in spectacular fashion. The flip side of that is he misses too many of the easy throws, quote unquote easy throws that he should make. His pocket presence was a real selling point, and even as a rookie in those 3 games that he started was really good. It's not been as good this year. He has struggled in some clutch situations. again, the offensive line hasn't made it easy on him, but those are things that you expect a veteran quarterback to be able to manage that he at times, some critical times, has not managed very well. So they still like him a lot. They are still publicly 100% behind him. And you can see all of the positive traits that you need to see. You just don't see him consistently enough yet.
Is 3-5 a major disappointment for the Falcons at this juncture in the season?
Yes. Not necessarily 3-5. The way they got to 3-5, they got blown out. They got embarrassed twice in a way that you don't see in a lot of NFL games. You don't see 30-point margins in the NFL. They lost 30-0 to the Panthers. They were uncompetitive against a Dolphins team that had been really bad. So this team has absolutely been a disappointment, not just the record, but the way they've arrived at it.
Yeah, it's interesting, too. You see a point differential, I think, that hovers in the middle 30s, a minus middle 30s. And, that would be similar to that of the Panthers. But you look at the Panthers 5-4, and I'm assuming everybody feels much better about them than they do about the Falcons right now. So, yeah, there's going to be a tough climb to get up out of this hole they've dug for themselves.
Yeah, they're in third. They thought that they were going to compete with the Bucs for first place. Right now, they're trying to hold. They're going to have to hold off the Saints for last place. They are in third. The Panthers have surpassed them, and the Panthers deserve that. I mean, they have proven the better team by a wide majority so far this year.
It's interesting, too. The running game is what has stood out. And I think, I'll give you a great example. Robinson is on my fantasy team, and there'll be moments when he's putting up big numbers, and there have been a couple of different moments this season when not. The running game and the offensive attack has been what, in your estimation, if certainly not inconsistent to this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Zach Robinson, who's their second-year offensive coordinator, is under a lot of pressure to find some answers. They keep saying they feel good about the way that they do things, and it keeps not working. So I think, Raheem Morris brought Zach with him when he came here. He brought Jimmy Lake as his defensive coordinator. He fired Jimmy Lake in the offseason. I think that Zach Robinson is well regarded around the league, and Zach Robinson, name has been mentioned for the Oklahoma State head coaching job. But if the offense doesn't improve, Raheem Morris will be under a lot of pressure to make another coordinator change in the offseason if he is not fighting for his own job.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Well, I mean, I would think that's probably going to be the case. Josh Kendall from The Athletic covers the Falcons. Falcons and Colts coming up on Sunday morning in Berlin. Again, 6:30 your coverage begins with the Colts pregame huddle right here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. So what have you witnessed in the Colts game and your expectation for this matchup coming up in Berlin on Sunday?
Well, I mean, I think the Falcons don't get their offense rolling, they don't stand much of a chance. Their defense has been pretty good. The pass rush has been much improved, but asking them to shut out Jonathan Taylor the way they've played against the run, I think is asking for the impossible. They're just not great against the run. So Indianapolis is going to score. Indianapolis is going to be able to play the way they want to play offensively, I think. So Atlanta's going to have to score a bunch of points. We have only seen them able to do that once or twice this year.
I think about it in this capacity. So last week in Pittsburgh, and you mentioned, being able to get after the quarterback, which is something the Falcons, they have been able to do this season. I'm assuming there was a lot that was witnessed in what the Steelers did to rein in this Colts offense for the first time this season in the fashion in which they did, and that was tons of pressure in the face and especially off the edge of Daniel Jones, the Colts quarterback.
Atlanta can do that. Atlanta, for the first time in a long time, has the ability to do that. So that will, I would imagine, they blitz at the second highest rate in the NFL behind only the Vikings. I expect them to bring a lot of different looks, come from a lot of different directions, and hope that they can sort of get a game-changing play.
It's Josh Kendall with us, getting ready to hop a flight. The Athletic, he covers the Falcons. He's going to Berlin as well. How do you think this thing breaks down in closing before we let you go?
I mean, I think there's just no reason to pick the Falcons. Like you say, they're a coin toss. The Colts have been kind of a wagon, except for last week. If I'm not in the prediction game. If I was, I would certainly put my money on the Colts.
Yeah, it's one where the Colts have to bounce back, and especially it's funny too. After making a major trade deadline move, as we saw the Colts do yesterday with Sauce Gardner. It's almost like it's a have to, and especially considering that loss that they had in Pittsburgh last weekend, Josh, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, I think if you're the Falcons, you'd probably rather them win that game and come in, you know they're not going to win them all, but so you'd rather them beat the Steelers and come in and feel like you might catch them sleeping a little bit. Now they're sort of, got a fire under them again.
You mentioned this, and final thing too regarding Raheem Morris, that he could be on a hot seat if things don't change. What's your expectation if things don't change, if they continue to go this direction? Will there be a change at head coach, or certainly will that be visited in making a change at head coach in Atlanta?
I think so. Arthur Blank will have to answer questions about it. He's generally a pretty patient guy, but he'll have to answer questions about it if it doesn't turn around.
So Josh Kendall of The Athletic getting ready to go to Berlin. Kind enough to join us with a little Falcons insight for us with the Falcons and the Colts coming up on Sunday in Berlin. Hey, safe travels. How long is that flight from Atlanta for you?
8 or 9 hours, I think.
All right, then. Well, get some sleep, man. A little melatonin, something like that. Doze off, wake back up when the time's ready, and go have a little bit of fun before that game on Sunday, man. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
It's Josh Kendall right there. A man of few words, James, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. That was some loudness going on in the airport in the background right there. Well done. Josh Kendall, The Athletic. See, and that's also, when you cover a team, and believe me, Colts fans, and certainly I have dealt with mediocrity or less a number of times consistently over the years, and he sounds like a dude that doesn't say a lot anyway, but there's not much more to say. All right, the offense and the team is incredibly inconsistent, as is the quarterback, and a lot more was expected out of it. They're 3-5 and a massive disappointment, and there's just not much else to say. I will tell you this, having a running game, and I brought this up to Rick Ventura yesterday on the show. If you missed that, the podcast is at 1075thefan.com. I always thought this season there have been a couple of different times where if teams really wanted to stick with the run, that they would have found success. But the Colts offensively got such an advantage that all of a sudden you have to throw the ball for the most part, and that takes you out of being able to run. I think teams, to me, if they want to stick to it and they can hold the Colts offense, will be able to run, especially with a guy like Bijan Robinson. If you're able to stick to it. And we've often said this, and this has been me, and I got this from the film Hot Pursuit with John Cusack back in the 80s. The best defense is a great offense, or at least it's been that way for the Colts so far this year. And that has made their defense even better, too, because when you get up a couple of different scores, again, you know what's coming. You know what that other team is going to do. But I always thought if other teams before had stuck with the option of running it, that they could have found the success they were looking for. They had just been unable to do so. All right, 239-1070 is that number. The text line is 317-239-1070 as well. More of your calls. You guys have been fantastic on the text line, too. We'll go to Bill and his comments on this Wednesday. Hello, Bill. Are you going to join me tomorrow?
JMV, absolutely going to be there, and just wanted to give some props to the Ale Emporium in Castleton last week. I think they clearly have moved into the top 5 as far as remote broadcast venues. So laying down the gauntlet, you're laying down the gauntlet every place you go, because it's a challenge for the venue to really back it up. And the Ale does it.
They do.
The Mutt, Coach's Tavern, of course. So
you name them all, man. And I will say this: we have yet to be with Mike Manley and Manley's Irish Mutt, and I anticipate a time when we do, because I miss them a great deal at 10th and Shadeland. What a great spot!
Yeah, talk to Travis about that. I think it's going to happen in 26. I know from what he said to me last week. So. But hopefully it can be sooner. We always welcome the show.
Absolutely love it. I know I've got Got a couple of opportunities. One is for sure going to be in Bloomington. We're going to be at the Upstairs Pub later on this month. And I've heard about another opportunity in Bloomington. And then somebody is telling me that, and shout out to Brent. This is from Casey Valier. Brent in Tipton at the Shack would like a live show in Tipton. And I think I would be all over that. I've heard nothing but good stories about Brent and the Shack in Tipton. So, yeah, new opportunities, new venues, old school places that we love. Man, live shows are awesome, Bill.
Yeah, Tipton's got a haunted graveyard.
Do they? Cool.
That's some folklore from up around that area. But yeah, I'd love to do a short road trip up to Tipton for sure. But I want to talk a little bit about the Colts and IU football, if I could, and the Pacers as well. But the key to the Colts' success lies in how they can get Tyler Warren the ball. They weren't able to do it last week. I think Pittsburgh they devised some kind of defense against him where they're putting more men on him so that he can't operate the way that he wants to, and I think that Tyler Warren is absolutely the key. And man, I tell you, with the IU football seeding last night, it's intriguing that the potential BYU matchup, because BYU is a school that Lee Corso had his greatest success against in the Holiday Bowl back in the 70s.
Oh, you're dropping that 1979 reference, I think, in there, right?
Oh yeah, and back then BYU was the school for developing quarterbacks. Jim McMahon being one of them, Steve Young.
Yep.
So, but if it ends up being Notre Dame, is that going to be at a neutral site, or is it going to be, since IU has a higher seed, is it going to be down at Memorial Stadium?
Higher seed IU, I believe, in the quarterfinals, right?
Well, that's a ticket of the year to get.
Yeah.
If it ends up being Notre Dame, then they're going to play it, and if they're going to play at the Rock, you think that place hadn't been on fire already this year? It will be ablaze and everything if Notre Dame goes down and plays IU. But I wanted to say something about
by the way, you did mention that the 10-7 seeding arrangement, Notre Dame would be the 10 as of right now, and then BYU would be the 7, and then obviously the winner would get the 2 seed and IU. And those top 4, 1 Ohio State, 2 Indiana, 3 Texas A&M, and 4 Alabama. That was announced last night. Go ahead, Billy.
So, yeah, it's just going to be tremendously exciting and everything. And as far as the Pacers go, and I think it was made reference to by one of your previous guests, the Pacers are the worst field goal shooting team in the NBA.
Yeah.
And so they need outside shooting. And they've got Kyle Guy is playing on the boom. And, for people that have forgotten a little bit about him, peaks and valleys as far as his career has gone. Of course, Lawrence Central, Mr. Basketball, went out to Virginia, was the MVP of the Final Four his last year there. And he was drafted high, but had spent a majority of his time in the G League. But he's also spent the last 4 seasons over in Europe, playing in Spain and playing in Greece. So as far as this overall experience, and probably maturity and everything, I think they need to give him a shot, because they're just not shooting the ball all that well.
I wouldn't even say. I mean, right now they're giving anybody a shot. It seems, right? And their second hardship with Cody Martin earlier today. It is just one injury after the other. So I don't even know if we can start talking about that.
That bench is going to be like a turnstile, but the guy could make a big difference. But I just wanted to close out and say something on this day in 1946. The very first NBA glass backboard was shattered. Actually, when the NBA was the Basketball Association of America, and the Boston Celtics were playing their inaugural game, and a guy named Chuck Connors ended up
the rifleman?
Shattering the rifleman. Yep,
whoa,
the absolute
the rifleman did it. Yeah.
Yeah, he
I
did
did not know
that
legend right there. That's awesome. I knew he played basketball. I knew he was a big dude. I didn't know he shattered a backboard.
He did that, and he also played professional baseball. He played for the Brooklyn Dodgers and the Chicago Cubs. So he is on a very, very exclusive list of men and women athletes that have in America played 2 Major League Sports.
Why do you think he never reached? I think this is fair to say the level, the elite level, like John Wayne or James Arness did of that particular era. Is that fair to say? I mean, he didn't get to that particular, and obviously John Wayne was at the top, and James Arness for the long-running Gunsmoke program was right there second. Why was Chuck Connors never at that level?
Well, because, John Wayne was always Mr. All-American, and Chuck Connors in his series was a single father. And I think that was a concept that was so different for back in that time, that it just made them look at him a little bit different.
I like James Arness. I think James Arness needed more credit.
Yeah, his role in The Great Escape and, of course, Rockford Files was just tremendous. But I'm looking forward to seeing you at the Mutt tomorrow and everything, or at the Bulldog tomorrow.
You got it, buddy.
And let's break a record.
You got it, man. Can't wait to see you tomorrow, Billy. James Arness shout out right there. Hey, by the way, Brent from the Shack in Tipton with a shout. He would love to have us to the Shack in Tipton. I would love to go to the Shack in Tipton. Yeah, I was trying to think of other Cowboys, lead role Cowboys of that particular era. Chuck Connors, as Bill referenced, was a tremendous athlete. Man, that stuff interests me a great deal. It's money. Neutral site game for that. So IU first round bye, the Irish would open up at BYU, remaining games spread out amongst the major bowls. Man, that'd be too bad. Actually, I take that. You know what? I know people want to say, well, that'd be too bad because, Bloomington. No, it wouldn't be too bad because you put yourself in the best position possible. And, this is all probably going to change in some form or fashion. I can't, just because of the accomplishment, sidestep the fact that how major it would be if IU's able to sustain, while also thinking about how great a home date would be of that magnitude. For example, with a team like Notre Dame, you would rather them position themselves the best possible. So I do get that. I know everybody wants to get both sides of it, but I certainly don't get both sides of it. I get the other. Just maintain as best you can. What is the point spread? I got to hit a break. I know that, James. I was going to ask, is it 14.5? IU's a favorite, I think, in Happy Valley coming up this weekend. Has IU ever been favored over Penn State in football in their existence? Has anybody run the numbers on that? Has IU ever been, and sure as hell never been favored at Beaver Stadium? This is some stuff happening with IU football. It is incredible. And even the stuff that really doesn't, this is like a betting line, and in the grand scheme of what we're talking about right now, it doesn't matter. But 14.5 at Penn State. It's almost like this is like the bizarro world. But it's great. Great for IU fans, football fans. No doubt about that. Quick break, we'll come back. Hey, you and I the rest of the way, and I think I have some Anything Goes coming up after 6 o'clock. You got the text line at 317-239-1070. 317-239-1070 if you guys want to get on hold. I'll yak you up as well, too. 2 road shows tomorrow, Friday. We'll get back to that. More of your calls. Sauce Gardner on the field practicing for the first time today. Shane Steichen had words about that. And the Pacers, another hardship player for their matchup tonight against Brooklyn at home. IU, Alabama A&M tonight down in Bloomington. Butler has Southern Indiana this evening IU, by the way, is on IBC. Butler is on 92.7 Fuego. We are on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Back with you next.
Gonna fall for a banana in the tailpipe.
You're not gonna fall for the banana in the tailpipe?
It should be more natural, brother. It should flow out like this. Look, man, I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
OAR tickets. That's September, Everwise Amphitheater, September 2026. Number 9, if you want those, I got a pair for you right now because I love you. 239-1070, number 9, OAR. Very entertaining band. I know our good friend Kristen Airy digs OAR. And this is a mile away or so, but still tickets for you and something to look forward to in September of 2026. Everwise Amphitheater. Great venue, by the way, for that, too. Enjoy. Number 9 at 239-1070. Johnny Furphy and Quentin Jackson. And I saw this, according to Rick Carlisle, prior to tonight's game against Brooklyn at the Field House. Quote, will be out for a while. Neither will play on this road trip out west that begins after tonight's game. No Johnny Furphy, no Quentin Jackson. This continues to be the most ridiculous injury situation that we have ever seen. And we have seen everything in injuries that have been absolutely ridiculous. Some of the most mind-blowing, injury-riddled, injury consistency situations of all time have fallen upon those that cover the teams and you, the fans. This is the most ridiculous. That says a lot. I mean, we had soap operas of Andrew Luck for years. And hell, it's better than this. This is ridiculous. It's almost like if you run out there and you play for the Pacers, you're going to pop or tweak or crack or break something. I know what you're saying. I know you're saying they're paying the price for all that incredible luck and game-winning Hey, listen. I'm not paying any price for that. This is just ridiculous. So, you know, I'm a big believer in this, right? The old basketball God theory. I don't know. I'm kind of saying maybe I'm not. But when will they look a different direction here? I mean, all you really want to do is have some healthy dudes that are able to play, for goodness sake. Basketball gods, get up off the Pacers, would you? Even in the greatest team that I've ever witnessed around here, in the greatest season, the most enjoyable season, especially postseason ever for me. So this is the punishment or the price that I have to pay? Johnny Furphy and Quentin Jackson, and again, nothing against either one. I like them both, but we're still talking about Johnny Furphy and Quentin Jackson. It's ridiculous. This IU National Championship season is for Babe Laufenberg. Shout out to Babe. It's from Frank, JMV. I attended a conference yesterday sponsored by the Indiana Donor Network. One of the speakers was a kidney donor recipient that I think is a name many of your listeners will know. Yes, Coach Cliff Hawkins, boys high school basketball coach. Cliff Hawkins, I believe, once upon a time was at Center Grove, right, Frank? And also did he coached at DeKalb, I believe, too, right? Did he have Liddell? I'm not going to, James looked at me like, you asking me? I think Adam Liddell that went to Purdue. Was that Cliff Hawkins? Well done, Frank. 239-1070. Chris is up next on this show. Hello, Chris. How are you?
I'm good, sir. I had a couple quick questions regarding the Colts, of course. It seems like everybody's been kind of tough on the defense this year. Don't get me wrong. Also, even the Pittsburgh, game, obviously we lost it. Turnovers didn't help our cause any. with all the injuries, I don't know. I guess I can't help myself as a fan think that they've overcame quite a bit. You know, that's why we are kind of in the situation we are. Don't get me wrong. The offense has also helped with all the yards, touchdowns, so on and so forth. But it just seems like the defense gets a lot of heat, and people kind of forget about all the injuries, how banged up we've been as well, especially the secondary, which might have even led to why they went after Sauce Gardner. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, Chris, I don't think people are completely down. I think what you're trying to do is just upgrade. And really, it's been good up until the Pittsburgh game, but it's been good to recognize through blowout wins that, you know, maybe you can get better in a couple of different areas, or maybe more so than that, you have to get better in a couple of different areas. So you bring in Sauce Gardner. You go big on this deal, hoping not only to solidify what should be, at least name recognition-wise, an accomplishment, a great-looking secondary when healthy, which will help the front end of this thing and maybe better rush the quarterback, maybe give more of an opportunity for Latu, more of an opportunity for Buckner and those guys up front to make plays that we've been looking for as well. So I think that you just recognize where you are. It's not everybody's down on the defense, but you absolutely have to make yourself better because you positioned yourself in the fashion in which you have. And I think, at least on the surface with that deal, until proven otherwise, Chris, the Colts have done that with Sauce Gardner.
No, that's fair. I would agree with that. I don't know. It just kind of felt like, you know, just not necessarily you, but just kind of the media in general.
Oh, I can be a jackass. You can let me in there. That's okay. Sometimes I can be a bit of a jackass.
No, I'm not trying to say that at all. First time caller, long time listener. Love the show, by the way.
I appreciate it, Chris. Yeah. That's money, man.
Yeah, I was just curious on your thoughts, and then also maybe. You know, the other thing with that Pittsburgh game, had we not turned the ball over as much,
yes,
we only lost by 7.
Right.
You know, maybe if it was only 1 or 2 turnovers, do you think we still lose? I don't know. I just your thoughts is all.
No, thank you, Chris.
On that, you know,
call anytime and thank you for listening. No, I think that I mentioned that earlier this week. It's funny, you go back to that Manning game of, what was it, 07 or whatever the hell it was in San Diego. I brought that up earlier this week, too, with these 7 turnovers and these 6 Manning interceptions in a game where we witnessed for the first time Devin Aramashadu and Crap Thorpe. Now, they still had a chance, a legitimate chance, where Adam Vinatieri missed an easy field goal in the rain in San Diego. But no, you don't turn it over 6 times. You give yourself the opportunity in a game in which clearly the offense was struggling at times offensively or offensive line-wise in an edge rush and a rush in the face of Daniel Jones. No, seriously, you're right about that. Don't turn it over 6 times. Give yourself more of an opportunity. All right, if you're on hold, I'll get to you. Here's why. Because I have to go until 15 after? So we'll reference some anything goes. 15 after. Is this a part of my contract? Am I contractually obligated?
I'm probably the wrong person to ask about this.
Not? Well, you better check into that.
I'm not really aware of the finer details of your contract.
Oh, no. Did I agree? When did I agree to do this? I don't really care. 15 minutes after 6, we yip-yap coming up before and then after 6, so don't go anywhere. Right now, 50 in betting, 50 in dining. You know this to be true, right? Somebody's going to win. It could be you. Let's find out. The Harrah's Park race of the day.
This channel is reserved for emergency calls only.
Lady, do I sound like I'm ordering a pizza? 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
There's your park race of the day. Shout out to Ted Demos. Ted Demos, the winner on a Wednesday. Harris Hoosier Park race of the day. 50 in betting, 50 in dining to Ted Ray Graham was the winning horse. Paid $7 on a $2 bet. $2 exacta was $10.40. 50-cent try went for $7.10. Ted, shout out to you, my brother. You're the winner of the Harris Hoosier Park race of the day. We fire that up again tomorrow as we're live at the Bulldog tomorrow with you. Varsity Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots. Tony Renz does it again. Now, we're winding down the horse racing season, but Tony, we got to fire this bad boy up again because we love it. People love it. Harris Hoosier Park, race of the day. Gutshot is right about this. I'm old enough to remember when you used to go until 7 o'clock every day. Yes, I had to be absolutely, Gutshot, I had to be insane. Now, people will suggest it's not like you're more sane now, considering you go 7 days a week. And now you do Saturday night until midnight. You're talking about going until after midnight and then getting back up here, staying here in the building, cranking back up. 6:30 for the Colts pregame huddle with Casey Valier here in studio coming up on Sunday morning before that Berlin game, and you're absolutely right. So maybe I have not learned. But no, Gutshot, you're right. I used to go until 7 o'clock. I don't know this to be true, and somebody can help me. I don't know if anybody from a local television station. Normally, this is like a 59 deal. I guess sometimes RTC. Is anybody doing a local broadcast of the NFL Network broadcast on Sunday for the Falcons and the Colts? I have not seen or heard. I got asked this a couple of times. My apologies. You keep asking, and I don't have that answer for you right now. I just assume from what I've seen is going to be on the NFL Network. That's it. James, you got something?
Well, I asked Eddie Garrison because I couldn't find it posted anywhere, and he says it has to be on a local channel, so we're trying to figure out which one it is.
They are efforting. See, somebody out there that works at the station that has it, just like call or text or email us and stop jacking around and let us know. Hey, listen, I'll say it, and then everybody will talk. That's what happens here. That's why everybody wants to advertise and be promoted, because you're going to get heard. Yes.
Okay, it is Fox 59.
There you go. Where are you, Hagen? Still in bed? JMV, will you be sleeping at the station on Saturday night? Yeah, I'm going to stay here. I don't know how much sleeping will be done. But yeah, I'm going to stay here. I don't oversleep, but I think it'll be more a pain in the ass to drive all the way back to my house after midnight and then come back that early. Now, granted, I normally do go home after midnight, and then I get up at 6:30 and go play hoop. But I actually have to be on the air at 6:30. So, yeah, I'll probably just stay here. And then, on my way home, I'm going to stop at Southport and play hoop because Brendan Dudas, the awesomeness, is going to open up the gymnasium. So I'm going to play a little bit of basketball on zero sleep, too. And oddly enough, be better than anybody there. All right, Win-Schuler's spread. Sorry about that. Win-Schuler's spreadability. You had original sharp cheddar bacon and cheddar and jalapeno pepper. Yeah, make sure you snack at an elite level. Hey, I mentioned this too. If you're going to grill out later on tonight, which I think is a tremendous idea, slap a little Win-Schuler's on that burger. You'll love it. Win-Schuler's spreadability. Local Meyer, Gordon Food Service, and Neiman's Harvest Market. You guys ready for some anything goes? Well, make it appropriate. We've got callers lined. There's Natalie is on board here. Natalie's an awesome name. Natalie, Fulton, Jonathan, and others. Anything goes coming up after 6 because we got to lead you to the Colts Daily Update and then Pacer Hoops coming up on the other side of that. So don't go anywhere. 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
JMV.
Johnny! Down! David Letterman!
Hi, David. I'm Grandpa.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Good God. I guess this means we have to hear Florida-Georgia line, which I don't know what's worse, going 15 minutes longer or Florida-Georgia line. Crank this up, James. Yeehaw! Everybody knows, beep, beep. You too can be a country music star if you wear pants that are 2 sizes too small and have a drawer full of tube socks. And a little twang in your voice. Hell, I have that. Yes, James.
You know what the worst part about that song is?
A drawer full of... Oh, I thought you were going to say worst part about it, what I said.
No,
a drawer full of tube socks?
Well, there's a lot of bad things about that.
There it is.
With that, specifically because I'm playing it off of my Spotify. Spotify now thinks I like Florida Georgia Line, so it tries to suggest things for me.
I guess it's appropriate for a 15-minute breakdown right here, and anything goes. We got the Colts Daily Update. We got Pacer pregame. Boylan and company coming up with the Pacers and Brooklyn. JMV, downtown dweller here. Let me be the first decent listener to open up my home. JMV, would love to host you so you can at least have a beer and a shower. Keep rocking. Downtown dweller wants me to sleep over on Saturday night. I don't know if should I be excited about that?
It sounds a little, especially since
the name is... Are you
asking
asking me to sleep over?
Especially since the name is Downtown Dweller. That just kind of sounds a little sketchy.
I'm trying to sound like Big and Tom Hanks. Do you mean sleep over? Remember that when, for whatever, I never liked, who was the chick in that, Perkins?
I've never seen the movie.
Elizabeth Perkins. She was in About Last Night, the original, and then was in Big. She just always looked like she was in a pissy mood. In every role, Elizabeth Perkins. Yeah, I'm in a pissy mood. I don't know how she ended up with that role.
Oh, yeah, I can see
She was.
that.
Remember, she was waiting in the lower part of his bunk bed. Oh, you mean sleep over? He was like opening up his apartment. Josh Baskin.
She does have a very stern-looking face.
Looks like she's just in a pissy mood all the time. You guys didn't know you're going to get a 1988 big film tutorial right here, did you? That's what happens on Anything Goes. 239-1070 is that number. Natalie is up first during Anything Goes. Hello, Natalie.
Hey, how's it going, man?
I'm great, Natalie. How are you?
I'm fine. Just about halfway through my long trek home to God's country down south.
Where you going down south, Natalie? Where are you going?
Man, I live down in like Trafalgar area.
Yeah, I know.
But I drive from Indianapolis every day, so it's kind of a long drive. So
Natalie, are you going to the Crowbar? Will you go to the Crowbar later on tonight?
You know what? That is a potential destination for us tonight, actually.
Great place, by the way. A great Johnson County establishment.
Oh, it is great. Supposed to be doing some drywall work at the house, but I think the Crowbar probably sounds better. So
good. Well, yeah, skip the drywall, go to the Crowbar, and tell them I sent you.
There you go.
Yes.
Well, man, I was calling because you were talking about Cliff Hawkins.
Yes.
And I kind of missed the whole thing that you were saying there, but Cliff Hawkins coached basketball at Greenfield, and he was Matt English's coach.
Really? Was he at Center? He was at Center Grove too, right? Cliff Hawkins, Center Grove, and
I'm not
DeKalb?
sure. Yeah, I think he was, but yeah, he was in Greenfield in like the 80s and 90s.
Yes,
and,
he made the tour.
Matt English.
Yeah,
Matt English from Beech Grove was one of his players. So
yeah, well done.
Shout out
to you
to all
right
my
there.
Greenfield dudes, man.
Hey, Natalie. Hey, let me know. Send me a message about what you're having at the Crowbar tonight, okay?
I will do that. All right, man. Have a good one. Thank you.
Shout out to the Crowbar and Natalie right there. You know what I think about when I hear the name Natalie?
What's that?
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life.
What a specific reference right there.
Jonathan's on line 3. It's Anything Goes. Hello, Jonathan.
Hey, good evening. I was just listening to some of the Sauce Gardner news. I was talking about, basically, is it going to make the whole scheme more aggressive? How does it affect everything defensively for the Colts?
Right. No, I think the reason why they Jonathan, the reason why they got him is because he is so good, so prevalent in press coverage. That's the expectation right there. Yeah, so if you're talking about being more aggressive, being able to try to take away guys, and certainly when Charvarius Ward gets back, you're going to have that capability on both sides, and that's the expectation. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, the news has been saying that he hasn't played. Gardner hasn't played well lately. I don't know if that's like a Daniel Jones thing where it's a product of being on a bad team and it's causing him to play badly, but one guy did say that he's going to be able to concentrate better on his assignment rather than face guarding, which I guess was his problem recently. But I don't know what you call Anarumo's scheme overall. I mean, obviously it's like a 4-2-5 alignment most of the time, but I was just hoping they'd be blitzing more because it seems like they were doing that early in the year and then just kind of stopped for the most part.
No, I think they are going to be more aggressive. Now, I don't know when we're going to get a chance to see, everybody that we're hoping to see in that secondary, healthy in reality, but that is certainly the view. That's the reason why they spent so much and were so hardcore about going out and getting him.
Yeah, I mean, I was excited. The only thing that would have made me happier was a defensive end, but for some reason, even bad teams don't seem to want to part with a good defensive end. So I guess you just have to accept it for what it is. And they're going to need – the timing is perfect for the Colts. They're going to need against these harder teams, for the defense to occasionally win the game or bail out the offense, just be the heroes, I guess. It's going to be a really different second half of the season compared to the first half. But, yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about.
Jonathan,
how it
thank you very much.
Culture.
Yeah, thank you for the call. You call again soon. Thank you very much. Well, that's essential personnel too. And you go out and you get a high caliber guy. We'll see how it works out. I know that some of you are apprehensive about buying into it, and that's fine because we haven't seen a damn thing yet. But the expectation is the reason why you paid what you did and you spent the better part of a month trying to figure out how you could do this and whether or not the availability was going to be there, and that's who you wanted. This is a high-caliber guy. This is an essential position. And I'm incredibly excited about it again until further notice. Thank you, Jonathan, for that. JMV, Greenfield Central and Center Grove. I believe, right? DeKalb as well for Cliff? Where's my man B. Ray? Brandon Ray would know. Saw him last night hooping. Good night last night. By the way, this is anything goes, right? Hey, Center Grove, can you go to that West gym? It is a classic gym. Can you get somebody maybe one time this fall to run a stinking broom over it? I'm just saying. Or even that. Leave a broom out there, and when I get in there on a Tuesday night, I'll push the damn broom over it. That's the dirtiest floor of all time. And nothing sucks worse than playing basketball on a dirty floor. I mean, it's almost like you had donkey basketball from the 1970s on it. No, seriously, you don't have to assign somebody the job to do it. Just leave the broom out there, and hell, I'll do it. It's the dirtiest basketball floor of all time. Let's go, CG. I'm going to call Eric Moore and have him leave a broom out for me.
Kind of surprised you don't just come with your own.
I mean, Zach Hahn, can you leave a broom out for me? Be nice. All right, 239-1070. Monon John is on here. Hello, John.
What's up, JMV?
Am I lying about there's nothing worse than having to play basketball on a dirty-ass floor.
Yeah, I hate to correct you, but it's not a broom, it's a mop. But we're good. I get it. We're good. you know what I referenced you to when you talked earlier about being the best on the floor at the Center Grove. You got to remember, I played with you. I reference you. You're my George Costanza. Do you get that reference? You're a chucker.
Oh yeah, because
you are a chucker.
Yeah, because he played with Jimmy. He played with Jimmy, and
he played with.
I am, but hey, Monon John, you haven't played with me recently though. I'm a lot more well-rounded now because I'm in better shape. Yeah, I'm in better shape.
All right.
I'm a floor runner. I'm not a hash mark runner anymore.
You were no JMV back in the day.
Hey, Brad Stevens would be so proud. You want to know why? Because I'm guarding my yard. I guard my yard now. I get my ass down in the stance and guard my yard for the first time ever, thanks to Premier Weight Loss.
That is awesome. That's awesome. No, I heard you say that. And I had to call it. I'm like, I used to play with him, and I saw him not go across half court on defense.
I'm different now, man. It's a new era. If I could get this Achilles fixed on my right Achilles situation, then I'm unstoppable at 55.
Bro, real quick, I'll let you go, but I haven't played in 2 years because my Achilles ruptured back in 2022.
Yeah.
And you don't ever want to go through that.
I don't, and mine's incredibly swollen after playing until 11 last night, and I took a bunch of drugs and came in. So that's what I did. So I'm good. I know I got to be better though. I do.
All right, Biff, you be good.
Take it easy. From the Costanza. Thank you, Monon John, right there on Anything Goes. Who's next here? Oh, I Fulton's lurking coming up. Kenny right now. Let me get Kenny before Fulton. Hello, Kenny.
What's up, JMB?
How you doing, Kenny?
I got a flashback from last week. You were talking about perms in the 80s, and I couldn't call in, but I had a comment.
Sure.
It was Christopher Atkins, because my girlfriend was 82 from when Blue Lagoon was out, and he had the perm in the movie,
Yes.
and that was what she wanted me to look like, and that was a bad look for me.
Did she wanted you to look like Christopher Atkins? Yeah.
Well, the hair. Anyways, I couldn't do much about the rest. But
yeah.
I have a year and a half of pictures of me in a perm, and I think I burned them all.
Isn't it weird? Did you have anybody that you went to school with back then that had somebody give them a perm? And like I've said this before, my grandmother got perms all the time, and it's an it's like right next to
it's
weed.
Awful. It's ammonia.
Yes.
It wasn't Prel. It was some other. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I know. It was like Clairol. Clairol?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Bad news. And I must listen to your show too much because I think I know your cholesterol count, your fat content, your hairline, what you eat, and how much you pee. So
yes.
I either listen too much or we need more sports.
I love that too. Well, I'm going to. I share that with you because I'm trying to have everything all new here in the next 4 years.
Your Achilles is next. Your Achilles. Well, I'm 60, so I got 5 on you, brother, and it doesn't get easier. So.
Yeah, my Achilles does burst or rip or whatever it does, which is coming up. That's going to be a sucky day.
We don't need that. We need JMV. We don't need you. We need to guard the yard, not to be.
I'm all new, man. I'm guarding my yard and everything.
I'll
now.
let you go. I know you got to get Fulton on. The question you asked earlier today, when will we know if this trade was a bust or not?
Yeah.
Is going to be like, well, it depends on what 2 draft picks they get and who they get for him. And if A.D. Mitchell turns into a stud, and we'll be like, God, why did we let that guy go? Even if Sauce is great, which I think he will be. But I'm hoping A.D. I guess I wish him well.
Yeah.
But I hope A.D. Mitchell doesn't blow up in our face and be like, I told you I was that guy.
The evaluation on the price tag. Thank you, Kenny, man. I appreciate you listening all the time too. Is going to be interesting. And hopefully it works out right now with Sauce. Fulton is next. Fulton, how are you?
Hey, John, how are you, man?
Hey, Kenny just said to get you on, Fulton. How about that?
Yeah, but that's Kenny. I said thanks.
Well, you just told him. Fulton, well done.
Yeah. So, anyways, I got some big news.
Uh-oh.
Yep. So, Pat Sullivan is going to let me be doing the ukulele with them.
He is. I got to be there for that.
Hopefully soon. Yep, hopefully soon.
Can you, tell Pat, and we got to go really quick here, but
sure.
Tiny Bubbles. Play Tiny Bubbles on your ukulele. Tiny Bubbles.
Sure.
Like Don Ho did,
John.
Okay? Do that.
And we got 2 more weeks until the big musical for Singing in the Rain, John. You got to be there for it.
All right, Fulton. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Man, Dan and Dave. That sounds like an old Reebok commercial right here. Dan and Dave. You guys, priority calling tomorrow for the show, or priority seating for the show, or priority sampling for the show. The Bulldog, Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots. We're in Broad Ripple tomorrow. Dan and Dave, you get priority service from me and Brent Holverson on the show tomorrow at 3. Colts Update, Pacer Hoops after that. Have a great night.